Alright, picking up somewhere where I left off. Somewhere close anyway. That was really interesting. Anyway, so let's do some more of this. That's the MP3 from part 1 rendering. Stupid Finnish noise, actually.
You have no right to play it. Just like nuclear power or anything else.
Again, you have no right to tell him not to play it.
Right, so we don't have a right to argue. We don't have a right to defend our position. We don't have a right to blah, blah, blah. First Amendment, all that crap. Fuck you. Yes, I do. You suck. I have a right to say that. I just said it. Oh, well, he'll jump in again.
That's what you do, is you impose standards on other people.
Yeah, I don't know. That's right. That's right. We all impose standards, and I'm saying I have a right to impose a description of reality. Yes, I impose a description of reality. It's just stupid. Yeah, I advocate for a position, and I'll defend it because I think it's the right thing to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to try to persuade people. yeah, that you're an idiot, which won't be hard to do. I don't think. Hit the button. Failure once again.
Because that's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, remember that part? Yeah, sorry, some of this was redundant. Alright, I'll move along.
People say you can't, until we make it fail safe, you can't own a bazooka, you can't own a nuclear bomb, you can't own whatever, missiles.
How many bazookas do you own, Gary?
So we can make them fail.
Yeah, again, you're just making my argument for me. That's right, I don't. I'm not allowed to put other people at risk and at jeopardy. And that's the same argument that was made about procreation. If you don't have a damn good reason, we shouldn't give you a permit to do it. If your only excuse is, I want, well, that's not good enough to impose on somebody else. That's the argument. If it's too complex for you, I'm sorry. Can't really simplify it any further.
You can't own them. We make laws like that. Why is it wrong to make a law that says you can't replicate, you can't produce children until you can do it with the assurance that you're not going to impose life on somebody who doesn't appreciate being here?
Again, that's stupid. That question is stupid. You should try using your head when you make your argument. The reason that they don't make a law like that, the reason that we don't enforce laws like that, do things like that, is because
no, we know why, okay, is because people have been duped into believing into silly gods and other mumbo-jumbo that has nothing to do with reality. And if they were stuck with the philosophical foundations they had 2,000 years ago in other places where people were pondering the question of life's futility and stupidity and redundancy, they would have just been stuck with that. And they would have been stuck with the conclusion in the end that there's nothing to be accomplished here. We're not serving a purpose in the universe. We're just making a mess and cleaning up some small portion of it and declaring victory. And it's stupid. That's stupid. But let's understand what's kept the human race going. Alright, it's been running on the fuel of bullshit for thousands of years.
When someone procreates, when they involve in procreation, there is no, depending on the person, of course, on the people involved, there is no guarantee that they're going to end up all fucked up when they're born.
That's not the argument. The argument is that it's a known risk. There's no guarantee that if you drink and drive that you will harm anyone. There's no guarantee that it's a evil, consequential end result act. But the fact is, it's a risk that you're imposing. We've declared the risk unacceptable. That's the argument. Argue the risk argument. You're arguing some other argument, asshole.
There's no guarantee that they're going to be retarded. There's no guarantee that they're going to have ALS. There's no
right. There's no guarantee a drunk driver will kill someone. That's not the argument. Shit for brains.
Guarantee that they're going to have muscular dystrophy, progeria, or any other disease.
There's a guarantee that a certain number of human beings, if you keep playing, if you keep rolling the dice, you will eventually roll snake eyes. The bad numbers will come up. They will be imposed on somebody. You will pull a small straw. and shove it in somebody's face and say, tough shit, fucker. That's the game you're playing with somebody else's welfare. I say it's obscenely, okay, irresponsible, reckless, and imposing. It's fucking goddamn rude not to do that with some humility. You're going to pull straws and shove them in somebody else's pocket, and you can't do that with even a little bit of fucking humility? Then you fucking suck.
There's no guarantee that they're not going to be born healthy unless the parents themselves have genetic problems and are not healthy.
Yeah, whatever. We all have something. The truth of the matter is there's 2,000 liability conditions out there, and all of us are going to have our 500. Okay, and so you get lucky if you don't get the bad 500, the really horrible 500 bad things that'll happen to you. So you get off easy. Maybe you're lucky, but that's not the point. The point isn't whether you're lucky. Point is do you have a right to make somebody else unlucky? And you are making them unlucky.
Now, if you're making a law that is going to benefit the majority of people, and the majority of people, contrary to your bullshit facts, do procreate.
Well, whatever. I didn't say the majority of people don't procreate. I made it quite explicit. They don't procreate sufficiently to maintain human population. Duh.
Then the law would discriminate against most of the people, the majority of people. The 80% or so that still procreate.
Well, that's just stupid. I mean, if I just draw the exaggerated circumstances, say, we should pass a law saying nobody can have 400 children. No woman can have more than 30 kids. Now, obviously, that law would apply to absolutely nobody, right? But it would still be a law stating this is the rule. So it's just bullshit. The only difference is what number you're choosing. But obviously, in the extreme, the law would have no effect on anyone. It would harm or change nothing. So you're just an asshole.
So that is that could be one of the reasons why laws like that aren't passed.
Well, we know why they're not passed, just like we know why we still don't have a right to die, is because religious assholes are telling us we have to believe in their God. Duh.
Now, should we argue that people should get genetic screenings to see what...
Not even close to the same subject. You want to argue that? Go ahead. Go ahead, have fun. It's not my subject.
What the chances are of having a child that's defective, that's genetically defective. I think that would be a good idea, but...
Yeah, why don't we do intelligence screening then, too? You know, if you have any ancestors who are alcoholics, yeah, let's wipe that out, too. You know, once we start pulling the weeds, you'll figure out the whole fucking garden is weeds. Everything in the garden is a weed.
If you take that too far, then you're bordering on eugenics. So now you have to decide at this point in your argument whether you endorse eugenics.
Another slander again. There's no eugenics in my philosophy. There's no eugenics in my argument. I'm not arguing for reductions in human population. I'm not arguing for the creation of a super race. I'm not doing any of that, asshole. That's what you fuckers are doing. All right? That's your game, jackass, not my game.
Or you endorse genocide on a global scale, because that's what you're advocating.
Yeah, right. Not reproducing deliberately, willfully choosing not to. And as a society passing a law that says there's some, you know, we're going to wind this down. That's eugenics. That's a bigoted effort to annihilate a certain specific genome. I mean, it's just this again, strangle reality, strangle words, distort them and pervert them to your purposes. Because you have no ethics, you have no integrity, no character. Do you think that's an honest answer? Do you think it's honestly the same thing when some bigoted person says, I want my genes to take over the world and I want to destroy somebody else's genes, which is the typical eugenics and which is the typical genocide, is picking a specific genetic trait and trying to annihilate it? It's always been in that circumstance. So again, so just pervert words so they don't mean anything anymore. Bravo. Typical ignorant, bigoted, jackass human being behavior. Bravo.
Now, I'm not sure which one you want to push for. I don't think you want eugenics because you want to just kind of get rid of everybody. So that would make you a genocidal maniac.
Yeah, right. Okay, so fine. So take a word and misapply it, pervert it completely to your own purposes. This is like somebody arguing that Hitler was a vegetarian. I mean, you can't see how fucking lame this is. You can't. It doesn't ring any kind of, oh shit, I really crossed the line there, kind of bell in your fucking useless head. Yeah, okay, fine. I mean, why don't you go all the way Christian and call suicide self-murder? Why don't you do that? Self-murder. Come on, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. The fact is, life is fundamentally broken because it can't be played ethically.
I'm supposed to turn it off now. Sorry. Yeah.
Can't be played ethically. You can't play the replicating game ethically. All you can do is violate other people's rights, plain.
By whose ethics? Are you suggesting that there's an intrinsic ethic to the universe?
Yeah, you idiot. I'm suggesting that every statement defining or declaring value is just as obvious, just as real, just as in the world as the fact of saying something like the earth is round. The fact that sentient beings create a welfare that has substance and integrity, and that you can harm it in ways that are intrinsically and fundamentally negative, is a fact. It's not fallacy, it's not subjective made-up fantasy, it's not a Three Pigs story. No, it's the story of the actual circumstance, you dumb fuck. That's right, that's what I'm saying. It's a truth in the world. It isn't, I'm not saying I like chocolate ice cream. I'm saying sentient beings have feelings, and feelings are the only thing of value in the universe, you dumb shit.
Is that what your argument's based on?
Yes. Fuck, what an idiot. So, in your book, somebody could just make up the truth that the Holocaust doesn't matter, that 6 million Jews slowly being tortured to death doesn't mean anything. That would be a valid statement to come out of a human mouth. It would be a statement that would somehow have some equal respectability as a statement of truth, a definition of reality. Fuck you, you're an idiot.
Let's go over this again because you seem to have a cognitive problem with this. You cannot impose life on a non-existent entity or a potential entity.
Oh, whatever. This is just too stupid. If I breed dogs, I'm creating dogs. It's just a fact, okay? It's just a fact. You create things. It's called procreation, shithead. So this is just stupid. If you don't think creating something, making something is imposing on the something, then you're just too fucking stupid for conversation. I mean, if you can't accept the premise that creation is an act, an aggressive act, okay, then you're just too stupid. Hey, you got food. You know that you've got food in those dishes. Fuck you. Yeah, I don't know what he wants, but he ain't getting it. Whoa. I don't have any super magical food.
You do not create life when you procreate. It's not a Frankenstein process.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a willful choice to whoa, batteries went all flat. Anyway, yeah, so, yeah, these are certain little premises. I mean, if you don't accept the premises, there's really nothing for us to discuss. We live in two entirely different universes. There's no foundations for logic. If you don't understand the concept that creation is an imposition, you're too stupid. If you don't understand the concept that my consciousness makes me fundamentally different than a rock or a stick or a piece of cement, then you're fucking too stupid for conversation. Take your conversation somewhere else because you're just wasting your time.
It's a natural process, and it's a continuation of pre-existing life. You're not creating.
Whatever. I mean, this is just too stupid. It's a continuation. It's a deliberate, willful choice. If I was to introduce, you dig up Tyrannosauruses, you find some chromosome somewhere, and you reinitiate their replication. There's no doubt that you created the existence of the new Tyrannosauruses. It's just fucking truth. If I introduce bears or they introduce mountain lions into a region, you can trace the fault. Okay, so everybody who's killed by the mountain lions, you can trace it right to the asshole who said, this is a good idea, let's put mountain lions in the middle of the streets. Come on. It's cause and effect, asshole. You want to evade responsibility? Fine. You need to do that for your own psychological reasons because you're a jackass? Fine. But don't pretend that's a philosophical concept. That you don't willfully decide to create human beings. Bullshit.
Eating. Okay? It's not a Frankenstein experiment. And there is no universal ethic, or the universe is not in a lesser state when you suffer, or I suffer, or anyone suffers.
Well, whatever. There's no argument then. We have, like I said, we have nothing to talk about. Absolutely nothing. If you don't value the difference, the fundamental difference between happy and sad, and in pain and in pleasure, if you don't understand those differences as being the most profound differences in existence, then we have, like I said, we have nothing, absolutely nothing of meaning to talk about. I have no interest in having any conversation with your nihilist, insane ass. I hope you die really, really soon. I can't say anything else. You're so fucking sick and disgusting. You don't understand the most precious, most valuable thing in the universe. You don't understand the concept of it. I mean, you're dumber than an animal. You're dumber than a 5-year-old. A 5-year-old understands the distinction between pain and pleasure. Can say, I understand how the universe is better if I'm happy than if I'm sad. I mean, you're just too fucking stupid.
And if you're preaching that crap, then you're preaching religion. And if you want to make a religious argument...
Well, whatever. Again, so let's blow up the word religion. So now religion doesn't mean dogma. Religion doesn't mean just a made-up fable or fairy tale. Now religion is any kind of philosophy that contains the declaration that, we've noticed that this sentience thing is happening, that there's conscious beings on Earth, and that consciousness is significant. As soon as you say consciousness is a significant event in terms of the feeling character of individuals, their welfare, how they feel is important. If you say those words, it's a religion. That's what this idiot's saying. And you fuckers will sit there and lick his fucking ass. I mean, goddamn, you're all disgusting.
An argument based purely on faith rather than logic, then we have to change the way we argue this argument.
No, we don't have to change anything. Okay, we just have to point out who's an idiot and who's not. You're too stupid for conversation. You're just too fucking stupid.
When a person procreates, they're not violating anyone. Period.
Yeah, so he's dealing with the risk equation. I mean, how many victims do there have to be? How many people have to have elephant man disease or whatever the scenario is? How many have to be born in that condition or have that end result? How many humans have to commit suicide a year? What number do I have to reach before it's too many? Before when you're willing to concede that you're dragging too many dissatisfied customers into the store and forcing them to buy your shit. And it is shit.
10,000 or 20 million? When's it too many people?
Come on, hit the button. Come on, answer.
Without their consent?
Answer.
You can't deny rights to a non-existent non-entity. Now, if somebody procreates, and if a couple procreates, and they have a child, no matter how screwed up that child is, they still have more rights than if they did not exist. And that's what you dumb fucks in the antinatalist community don't seem to understand.
Oh, right. So if I create a bunch of rats and they genetically, I've already engineered them to have cancer at birth, right? I've done the rats a favor because now they have rights not to have cancer. I mean, this is just too fucking stupid. Let's not blame the person who's, initiates the action, who creates the environment, who does everything to make something happen. No, let's just say it happened. And then deal with it. Yeah, fuck that. This is just too stupid. What an invasion of responsibility.
Most people like life.
Disgusting.
No, I'm saying most people have a psychological sickness.
Yeah, he'll answer that. Let's hear it.
Most people have a psychological sickness. Again, I'll ask for your credentials. Where are your degrees in psychology? Do you have degrees in psychology?
Yeah, so this is the argument from authority. Yeah. Do I need a degree or can I just pass a test? You got the bar exam of psychology, because maybe I can pass the test, because yeah, I've read the books. But whatever, play your game. Where's your credentials, funny head? I mean, you're wearing a wig and a hat, okay, to mock somebody. Is that your credentials? You can wear a wig and a hat? Yeah. Stupid fuck.
Have you taken any courses in psychology? Have you been to a therapist? Because that might help you. I think you really need to go see a therapist.
Well, I think you're the one with you're the one in the wig, asshole, and in the hat, and in the dark glasses. I think you're the one hiding.
Obviously, you have a God complex, and you're...
Yeah, obviously you have a lying, misparaphrasing complex. You can't argue the real argument. You have to make up fake arguments. You have a straw man complex. You want to suck the straw man willy, don't you? Yes, you do.
Projecting when you're saying that other people have pathology, that they have a sickness. If you're saying that most people have a sickness, then...
I'm saying the nature of life is a sickness, you stupid fuck. It's called addiction. That's right.
And obviously there's something wrong with you.
Oh, whatever.
People have no clue what planet they're really living on. Most people are deluded ignoramuses.
Come on, click it.
Most people can go out in public. Most people can challenge people to an argument and stand their ground.
Yeah, where's the evidence of that? Where? Show me. Show me the evidence of that. Where's all these people standing their ground? Where's all these people making their brilliant arguments? Where is it? I don't see it, fuck nut. I see you in a wig and glasses and a stupid hat playing a little silly game. Yeah, I don't see you standing any ground with any kind of integrity.
Than of walking away like a pussy.
Yeah, we look at
most people
hiding behind a wig
and flag and leave.
Yeah, well, prove I flagged anybody's videos. Go ahead, prove it, fuckhead. Go ahead, prove it. No, that's right. You don't do that. You just make false accusations because you're a fucking lying pedophile. That's right. That's why you're hiding behind a wig. You're a pedophile. That's why you're wearing the dark glasses, because you're a pedophile. It seems quite obvious. Quite obvious. That's why you're rationalizing that there's no value in the universe. It's because you're a taker. You violated people. You violated little children, no doubt.
Negative thumbs down on every video before they ever see them.
Prove it. No, that's right. That's what you don't do because you're a lying pedophile. It's so obvious.
Most people aren't pussies like you, Gary.
Well, so you made two fundamental accusations, flagging and thumbs down. Can't prove either one of them. They don't have any evidence of either one of them. Nothing. It's just a false accusations based on no evidence. Bravo. You suck. You have no integrity. You have no honor. You're an indecent, lying scum. Be proud of that, right? And my argument is that's the nature of the average human. The average human is just a lying scum like you. Just does exactly what you just did. They just lie their way out of life. They lie their way around the truth. They create fables and fantasies and fairy tales to justify their behavior. Yeah, so you just proved my case. Human beings suck. They have no character. They have no integrity. Just as you demonstrate. Well,
You know, you're reading into it.
oh, this is kind of weird. He's playing the beginning, like my video got fucked up too. So it's just kind of funny. He's playing the beginning of the video again, and now he's saying somehow the comment is obvious. Well, yeah, and I commented on his comment, and well, whatever. I don't know what this is.
General critiques in here, and to some, well, maybe I shouldn't even bother with the
Towards the end here, so I might as well see what the punchline will be.
Anyway, you've wasted everybody's time. Why don't you leave the video up and just make another video calling yourself an asshole? All right? Yeah, exactly.
Because he's got you to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I win. Anyway, I don't know where part 3 is yet, but we'll see. See if we can find a part 3. Advertising on it.
The 10% or 20% would be the anti-natalist. I suspect a lot lower than that. Most people do procreate, and most people want to procreate, and procreation is one of the functions and the goals of life. And just because you don't share in that belief doesn't mean that you're right. Just because you don't feel that biological need doesn't mean that you're right. And it doesn't mean that you have any intrinsic right to tell them they cannot procreate.
Yeah, whatever. The intrinsic right, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm saying I have a right to say it's unethical behavior. Yes, I have a right to say that. And I have a right to fight to stop unethical behavior. Not complicated. Fuck you. Of course I have a right to say it. I have a right to say it's wrong. Okay? It's imposing on live your life, play your games, but don't be imposing on other people. That's bullshit. Not complicated.
Hard for you to understand. This video was too long. It dealt with a serious subject and tried to explain it to assholes like you.
No, it's not a serious subject. Antinatalism is not a serious subject.
Right. So the implications of a crude structure that was our origin, the fact that there is no God, that we are left with crude, dumb forces that have created us through 4 billion years of carnage, that's not a subject. It's not worthy of taking any time to consider what that might mean. No, that would be silly.
It's idiotic. Now, antinatalism, as far as your brand of antinatalism, your ephilism, is ridiculous. Now, antinatalism, the way it was before you hijacked the term.
Yeah, whatever. I ran away from the term. I said, you guys have hijacked the term. I don't want anything to do with it. That's why I said, yeah, I'll come up with another word just to be clear. A word that's clear in its definition, because I'll define the fucking word. And then nobody can fuck with the fucking word, you fucking idiot. Jeez. Yeah, right, but I'm ridiculous again. You're the guy in the hat, the funny hat, and the funny glasses, and the funny hair. Yeah, and I'm the ridiculous one. Sorry, no sale.
Made sense because it did not, did not.
Okay, so here comes another lie.
Advocate the extinction of human life. It was just to limit population and to make it...
It'd be amazing. I go through the chronicles of all the things that have been labeled antinatalist and find one who isn't advocating for the extinction of the human race. I mean, Schopenhauer certainly meant it that way. Benatar certainly means it that way. So what anti-natalist of any whatever meaning or substance is advocating for population control? That's what that's called, population control. You don't call yourself anti-natalist if you believe in population control. You don't.
Make living more economically and socially and more viable.
Well, that sounds like eugenics to me. That's what that sounds like. It sounds like you're a eugenicist then. So you want anti-natalism to be synonymous with eugenics. You just want people to live in your
living
way.
For the new generations that were coming into being, as it were. But your brand of antinatalism, your ephilism, is not a serious topic. You're just a bunch of whack jobs.
Says you.
Who are using the internet to dump their trash.
You're the asshole in the hat and the wig.
Other people who are better adjusted to life than you are.
Yeah, well, great argument, pedophile.
Bigoted, shit-talking assholes like you.
Bigoted. That must be a really hard term to use when you're advocating the extinction of all human life.
Yeah, based on the fact that it's human and that creates consciousness, sentience, and the vulnerability to harm and failure. You call somebody bigoted against nuclear power because they don't think it can be done well enough, safe enough. They're a nuclear power bigot. Yeah, fuck, you're just too stupid. Too fucking stupid. Nuclear stupid. Quantum stupid.
Bigoted. You want human extinction and you're calling someone else a bigot?
Yeah, you obviously don't know what the word bigotry means. Yeah, you're just really, really dumb.
That seems kind of mild.
Yeah, it's like saying war is bad. You're just a war bigot. Yeah, alright. God, you're so dumb. Yeah. Alright. Oops, got to hit the button.
Again, you're all out of arguments, so you're peppering your argument with expletives.
All right. And so when you just say ridiculous, if we just make a ridiculous the same thing as vagina, you know, so it's the same point. So you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to say, oh, fuck it. Fuck you. It's too stupid. You're allowed to say something like that, but everybody else isn't. Fuck you. I mean, really, fuck you. It's silly. Expletive. Yeah, well, I'm not afraid of words. I don't have a religion that makes words taboo.
Because you don't have a logical argument, because you're all out of fancy terms, you're all out of psychological terms, scientific terms.
Yeah, whatever, you're out of them. I've made the argument, okay? You're the one not arguing the argument. You're arguing the arguer. So, again, you're the one who's failing all over the place.
Philosophical terms? Again, you resort to the standard fuck you. That's in so many of your videos and so many of the other antinatalist videos.
Yeah, and for good reason. Because it's a statement. You say fuck you to assholes. That's what you do. Really. If somebody was right now boiling kittens, you'd say, fuck you, asshole. That's what you do. Yeah, that's the appropriate behavior. Sadistic, psychotic, sociopathic, imposers of suffering deserve to be fuck you'd. Hard.
Again, the people you're arguing with, the ones you're actually arguing with, not the ones you're pretending to argue with, are better adjusted to life than you are.
That means something? I don't think it does. We're describing reality. Shit for brains once again. And again, so you just keep describing the arguers. You keep describing something, the irrelevancies, because you're the bigot. You just keep arguing irrelevancies, because that's all you can, that's all you have. Yeah.
You often associate your enemies, your opponents, with pedophiles. I've seen you do that to Anakantava. And to the best of my knowledge, he did nothing to...
Yeah, he did, you stupid fuck. You still haven't read the titles of his videos, you dumb shit. And I made the argument, plain and simple. You're going to have false associations. He makes videos that are totally mistitled. 50% of his antinatalism and depression videos weren't about either depression or antinatalism. Alright? So it's just a slander. So yeah, why shouldn't I make videos anti-Kantavad and pedophilia? Because apparently that's the way you make videos. You title them irrelevantly, not on subject, and you associate two things that have really nothing to do with each other. The fact that life is fundamentally made by unintelligent forces is not necessarily have anything to do with depression. I mean, it can be depressing as a truth, okay, but it's not depression. Anyway, so I'm not going to re-argue it, but yes, you're the one, again, playing the games. So the game player should have the game turned back on them.
Spur that on. He gave no indication that he liked children or anything like that.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So,
again, I'm not going to go through all his arguments. He did make arguments for calling us cult members. He's made arguments defending a lot of jackass rhetoric, and so he deserves to have it turned on him and pointed right at him, and the accusation made at him. False accusations. He makes false accusations. He should have false accusations made about him.
You're just full of shit, aren't you? Now you're going to call this kid a pedophile, which is kind of dangerous when you're on the watch list for your own bullshit and your own fuck-ups, Gary Mosher.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of it. Now you say you name drop, so now you're doc dropping in videos for no good reason. Yeah, and you're the one, you're claiming that I'm resorting. No, you're resorting, obviously. You're the one out of ammunition. And so now you have to play that game. So, not only hiding behind a screen name, hiding behind a wig, hiding behind glasses and a hat, and antics. And then you're going to sit there and play that game? Yeah, so what do you deserve? What's the appropriate response to that, shithead? Yeah, fuck you. Again, the kid associated me with Jim Jones. He has no right to do that. There's nothing associating, nothing connecting me and Jim Jones in any way whatsoever. Nothing more than associating me with Bill Clinton or, I don't know, Clyde Frog or, Cartman in South Park. There's nothing associating me with any of these characters. He has no right, okay, to do that.
So you should watch what you call people, because it would be a damn shame if...
I'm not afraid. I don't care if the FBI listens to every one of my phone calls. It listens to every single thing. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not afraid of the truth. I'm not afraid of somebody knowing who I am or what I think or what I believe. I'm not afraid like you, asshole. So go ahead, Fed and CIA and even Obama can listen to my conversations. I really don't give a rat's fucking ass. I don't.
Police kicked down your door, or government kicked down your door and dragged you away and hauled you off to prison.
Yeah, for what? Thought crimes? Oh my. Yeah, whatever. Then who's wrong then? I'm the guilty party if that happens? No, I don't think so. He had something on here, so.
Oh, and as far as origin, that was his name. That was a trademark issue. Just like your name is Inmendham as one name instead of having a space.
Yeah, it's a joke, shithead. Okay, yeah, I'm joking about his stupid name. You have a stupid name too. Yeah, it really is a dumb screen name. Sorry, but really dumb.
Between it, Inmendham or Gary Inmendham. That's what that means. It doesn't necessarily mean that he
Yeah,
can't
Gary
spell.
at Inmendham.
I don't know
none of your
if
business.
he can't spell. I haven't read his work.
You haven't
But
read his work. Yeah, whatever. Again, there's no point here, right? I made a joke, shithead. Ah, fuck.
Only it's got to be better than Jim Crawford's.
Hey, asshole.
Right, nobody can make a joke about Jim's name either. Oh, yes, right. Okay, anyway, it doesn't really matter, but fuck you for this bullshit. This part's kind of funny.
And you're gonna like it.
What's wrong with going to What's wrong with going to Partyland and eating cotton candy?
Whoops, didn't mean to hit the button. So anyway, so there, fake contrived laughter, and so that's how he deals with this fundamental argument that there's intrinsically, because of the structure of the game we're playing, you will impose on other people, and you will potentially impose great pain and suffering on them, and it's all just a laugh. That's all. You just laugh it away, because you don't want to have to deal with the truth of that simple statement. Yeah, that makes you suck. Oh, I think this is where I left off. I think.
Wait a minute, Gary. Did someone tell you that you had to procreate? I don't think he was imposing on you. I don't think people want you to have kids.
Right, so I'm making the argument about the fact that having children is an imposition. You're presuming that they're going to enjoy the same things you enjoy, that they're going to have the same opinion of the game of life, and think it's a game worth playing, and all of that. That's fundamentally an imposition, and his dealing with that is somehow changing the subject and making some kind of bizarre accusation that I'm somehow accusing people of forcing me to have kids. That's not what I'm doing, retard.
So now, if he's not imposing on you or someone else who's already around, who's
right, this already around argument again. I really shouldn't have to dignify this, right? I mean, if you're not going to concede that creating living things, okay, is an act of imposition, if you can't accept that minimum, there's no real conversation to have. You can't get more in somebody's face than to create them and put them in a circumstance. So to say that's not an aggressive act is just running from the truth. Desperate. It's desperately, pitifully desperate.
existing, and then he's not imposing on anyone. We've covered this a million times in the arguments, and you still don't seem to understand that simple point.
I don't know how it's possible to understand it. How can I possibly understand something so ludicrous? If I raise a bunch of rats and do experiments on them, I created them. I'm responsible for what they experience. This is undeniable truth. And just to sit there and run away from that, exposes you for the desperation that you won't accept responsibility. If you think life is worth living, then defend it. But don't pretend you're not imposing. I mean, damn it. It's just so fucking, yeah, I don't know. It's weaselly. Okay.
Of course you're going to say something insulting about youth and stupidity, which doesn't jive with the fact that you've stated in several of your videos that you knew the facts of life when you were 8 years old and witnessed the body of a dead lizard.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's lag here. Anyway, I've conveyed a story of why I never fell for the lie. The whole story that life has purpose and meaning and all the bullshit, because, the stupid answer, well, God says so, or God's will be done, or nature is somehow wonderful and beautiful. All those lies they went right past me as lies. And I said, well, what's the real truth? And so, I dug up a few dead things to see what the real truth was. And I found that it's just a matter of this biology thing taking place. And this biology thing doesn't care. It doesn't care about the welfare of any of these creatures. It doesn't protect them. No Mr. Nature shows up to save the day. No, it's just a cruel, stupid game we're playing. And yeah, so without the lies, the truth is obvious. Yeah, really obvious. Well, I don't know. Well, anyway, he said some sort of, isn't that cute? You're not being a pedophile, are you? That was his comment. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Keep trying.
There'll be plenty of time where you'll exist no more. Well, the truth is, though, that things just keep existing. You don't get here by some decision you make. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show up for the fun, and you don't get to choose what package of skin you're gonna get stuck in. And this is the game that keeps getting rolling along. So I mean, it doesn't even end. There isn't all this time that you spend not existing. And so these little games people play with words, you know, like only the lucky get to not exist, or some other play on words and whatever. It doesn't mean a hell of a lot. The question is this fundamentally, is this thing running efficiently enough? Is there too few bodies dead on the road? I mean, if this was the real consequence, if people really took accountability and acknowledged the price that they're paying for this thing.
I pay city taxes and property taxes to pick up all the dead bodies in the road.
Yeah, so that's that's the extent of his response to the fact that life has this fundamental flaw in it, that there's a risk equation, the risk is imposed, and there is this fact that victims are created. It's like the price of war. And the best he can do to justify that is to say something stupid like, somehow you pick up the bodies and that makes it all okay? The roadkill? I don't even know how efficiently your town does that. Yeah, I don't know. Do they really do a very good job? Anyway.
Bullshit trips that most people are taking.
Obviously, from an objective point of view, it is worth it, because people still drive cars, and people are still driving cars, and engineers have designed cars that drive themselves with the expectation that this will limit accidents and will save lives, which shouldn't mean anything to you because you want to end all life. Now, aside from that, the car maker, these cars that drive themselves, that have technology that will make accidents nearly impossible if they work right. There has been a crackdown on drinking and driving, and on people texting and driving. So there are improvements to the system to lessen the amount of people who are injured or die on the road. But obviously, from an objective point of view, it is worth the risk, it is worth the pain, it is worth the suffering, because humanity still wants to drive cars, still drives cars. So,
all right, so by this logic, the fact that there are nuclear power plants means that nuclear power plants are sufficiently efficient. So anybody who argues that they're not, that the risk is too high and that someday we may pay a catastrophic price, they're wrong. Because people decide what's right and wrong. And whatever people do is right. And they never do anything that's wrong. I mean, that's the most ludicrous answer I've ever heard in my life. The point of having a conversation, the whole point of philosophy, is to argue these questions, because the contention is that they haven't been resolved correctly, that we haven't done it right, that we're still doing a lot of things wrong, and we're doing them wrong because people don't understand the facts. They don't understand how the system or the thing works, and that's why they're drawing wrong conclusions about how it should function and what price is worth paying. So, yeah, just a really stupid argument. I was using it as a metaphor. I don't personally think cars aren't worth it. My argument was that somebody could argue that the number of lives ruined by the casual, superficial trips that people take, that people should have a different priority, that they should care more. I would argue that that football isn't worth paralyzing children, that the existence of football just isn't worth it. It isn't worth one paralyzed kid, in my opinion. It's just not good enough, even for one paralyzed kid. Yeah, that's my opinion, and I don't mind defending that opinion. Or whatever.
But you're all about universal suffering, and you're all about the objective value of suffering. And obviously, this is one case where you're totally fucking wrong, because suffering is not more valuable than the right to drive, than the ability to drive.
Well, whatever. You ask somebody who lost their wife and 3 kids, and 3 daughters named Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Little cute little girls they were. Go ask him whether it's worth it. And he'll say, fuck no. Yeah, I wish there was the damn things were never invented, because I'd still have my wife and my 3 lovely daughters. Yeah. And that's the point I'm making, is that you're deciding you're picking the short straws, and you're pulling them, and you're sticking them in somebody else's pocket, and that's bullshit. You want to play some stupid risk game? You play it. Play it with your welfare. Don't play with mine, fuckhead.
Then the ability to move, to access other locales. Okay, do you understand that? Do you think you can wrap your little mind around that concept?
Can you understand the concept of metaphor and analogy? It was an analogy, asshole. I never said that I would defend this position. I said somebody could argue. I was talking about the validity of having the argument, you retard.
Most people, or if you want to look at it as the macroorganism that is humankind, human society, they do not value suffering over the right to drive.
So what does that have to do with anything? Again, you're just arguing the majority says so now. Well, the majority said lots of things at different times in history, and the majority was wrong. And they were proven wrong and demonstrated wrong because people stood up like me and said, you are wrong. And then they argued and explained why they're wrong. So that's what I'm going to do, retard. But you can't use the argument from, we're the majority and we are right. Sorry, that doesn't go anywhere. You still have to argue the argument. Dopey.
Thank you.
I'll be hard work.
Is reality. As I've stated before, as other people have told you before, there are no easy solutions in life. Life is difficult for everyone. Everyone has their problems. Everyone has their pains that they suffer. Everyone, to the
well, whatever. I mean, the point is there are easy solutions. There are simple, small sacrifices made for huge gains. And now what's being stated is there's a simple sacrifice. You find something else to do with your time except using children to entertain you. That's not your right. You go find some other way to make yourself happy besides living through somebody else's existence or living dependent on their existence. That makes you a parasite. So yeah, find some other way to manufacture your happiness. Simple solution.
best of my knowledge, will suffer and die someday. Now, is that moment of suffering and dying, or are the years of suffering and dying worth the opposite of that, the life that is spent producing, creating, living? Is it worth all of the good things in life? Now, that should be your argument from that standpoint, but you don't even acknowledge that. you automatically take that standpoint that, yes, suffering is a value. It's the universal value. It's the universe suffers and all that, which is all bullshit unless you're making a religious argument.
Yeah, well, you didn't say anything there, right? You didn't quote me. So again, it's just a straw man argument you're making. You're arguing a straw man. I'm not the one saying that suffering is the only value, but I am arguing that there's nothing positive in this existence. There's just the removal of the negatives. You're born in a negative state. You live in a negative state, trying to fill holes that have been drilled into you by nature. And that's all you're doing. So don't make the need. There's no need to create a need. It's that simple. The need doesn't need to be needed by anything that needs the needing. The need is not needed. You can't go any. It's that simple. There's just no need to create the need. All right, but that's all we really are, is need machines. And you can pretend you're something else. Go ahead. I can't stop you. I can just say, yeah, you're lying to yourself.